if you think sales is to sell is a 4-letter word, and you won't let it come out of your mouth. Like, I don't like sales. I don't like selling. It feels bad. It feels icky. You don't understand what true sales really is, right? Like, we need to make sure that we are on the same page when we talk about selling, that the goal is not to get something from somebody, right? When you're thinking of selling, because if you think that's what sales is, if you feel weird when you're thinking about selling your services, you're thinking about it in a way of getting something from somebody, and you're probably not the business owner. And just to put it bluntly, you probably never will be unless you change that.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Masters in Fitness Business Podcast. It is brought to you by the Association of Fitness Studios, the proud sponsor of this podcast. They have all kinds of resources that you can get. You can get a free membership, or you can get a paid membership. Obviously, you get more benefits with the paid membership. But either way, check them out. It's a great resource for personal trainers and studio owners. Go to afsfitness.com. It's also where you get to stand on the shoulders of giants. And today, our giant comes to us from Orlando, Florida. The zombie apocalypse now, because there's nobody there other than the NBA maybe. But but I'm bringing Ryan McKenzie. And Ryan started out in the big box gym, like most trainers, working the floor where you got to hustle and bring in your own clients and sell memberships and clean equipment and clean bathrooms and all that stuff. And he'll be the first to tell you that he sucked at it. He sucked bad, but he stuck with it, and he got better at it. And then he got really good at it. And then he wrote a book about it. And the book is an international bestseller. And so now, so I want to welcome Ryan McKenzie to the show. Did I skip anything there, Ryan?
I skipped everything, but that's great. That's easy enough. There's so much stuff, but that's good enough for me. I love it, man. Thanks, Jim. Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you can make it, man. I'm glad we can make it work. And I'm really excited about this because, like we were talking before we started recording, is that there's a couple of dynamics that are affecting the fitness market right now. One is it's harder now to get people to walk through your door as a new client than ever before. I mean, you talk about barriers to entry. We have some, my friend, but I think the studio space is uniquely positioned to take advantage of this because people are going to start gravitating toward the studio space because of the built-in social distancing. We can be a little bit more surgical with our cleaning procedures, the more personalized attention, and it's just safer and cleaner than the big box space. But what a lot of trainers don't realize, especially the independent trainers and trainers who are, running their own one person business, is that you got to sell, man. And you got to sell every time, every session you got to sell. And I think trainers, rightfully so, they become, training geeks. And I was guilty of this, and they focus strictly on the trainer, thinking as long as I'm a good trainer, then clients will keep coming back and they'll refer people in. And that's just not the case. Do you agree with that, Ryan?
Yeah, 100%. And I think that is, as a business owner or the head of a small studio space there, where you're trying to grow from a one-man show to a gym, right? Or you're trying to actually build a team around you. That is the challenge, is that it can't just be I'm the salesperson and they're the trainers, or I love training, I hire a salesperson. Like, my philosophy, everybody in that building, everyone who's going to come in contact with a member is in a sales position, right? And I think that's what most trainers hate about this, is they think about it the wrong way. Most fitness pros got into this not to be salespeople. They got into it not to have to make phone calls. They got into it not to follow up and try to convince somebody to do something they didn't want to do. You got into it because you care about people, because you love working out, because you like the flexibility, because you want to stay in shape, because your mom had an issue and you helped her through it. There's some bigger reason than just I like sales. So that's a huge roadblock for a lot of people in the industry. And it either goes into like diving into it completely and becoming like this like pushy salesperson because I got to make it, or it turns into like really averse to it and you're just like, I'm going to let my training speak for itself. And I don't think either of those are the way. In my book, I call them the faker and the taker, right? The faker is the one that thinks they're doing good stuff because my training will speak for itself. And the taker's the one is like the used car set. What do I got to do to get you in this gym today? You know, like we don't want to be either of those people. You know, we want to really help people. And I think sales can really be a positive experience for the trainer and your client, for the gym owner and your members. If we start framing it the right way in our own mind first, because it is really the reason you got into the industry. You want to help people, you know, you want to see their lives change. You want to make a difference in your community. You want to have freedom in your schedule. That's all sales to me. That's all in a good way. That's sales. And you're really helping people when you do those things.
Yeah. You hit the nail on the head, and I can't wait to jump into this, but first I got to satisfy my own curiosity. I want to go back to, why did you start in the big box gym, and what made you stick with it? Because a lot of people would be like, this sucks, I'm out of here. I mean, take us from the time that you absolutely sucked at sales to writing the book.
So if you go to the wrong big box gym, I don't blame you for leaving the industry or jumping ship. Like there's some ones that are all about pushy sales. They're all about memberships and hitting your numbers and bonuses. And if you don't, you're penalized and you're on demerits or whatever. It's ridiculous how many like little sales tactics and gimmicks most managers, general managers, directors, whatever, will throw at you. I was fortunate enough to get in one that was like, we were customer service first. Like it was a large gym connected to the Orlando Magic, connected to the Central Florida, Florida Health, all kinds of clinics and all kinds of things. They built this thing. It was just the best gym in Orlando. And I actually got there because when I was in high school, they had some speed camps. So I went there and trained to get faster for baseball. Then I went back there in college before my senior year and hired a trainer because I was like, man, this is my senior year. I want to do something with this, you know, like let's go. And anyway, I fell in love with the place. And then after I graduated, our trainer at Rollins College, small school here near Orlando, got me on at his gym. He was doing a school, and I was helping him just redo the weight room, set up programs. He's teaching me stuff, learning that it's not just beating people up, but there's progressions and periodizations and all these different things. I was like, I never realized it. I've been doing it my whole life. I never realized it. Like I've been following programs. And so he's putting like science and numbers to the stuff that I'm like, let's work hard. You know, like it's lift weights. And my trainer from my summer before my senior year calls me up and says, hey, we got a spot. I think you'd be great at this. So I had no background really other than my small internship, no degree, a degree in psychology because I like people and I like the way people think. No certification, nothing in kinesiology, anatomy, anything like that. And I say, sure, I like working out.
Yeah, congratulations. You're like the majority of trainers in the industry.
Well, yeah. So back then, the rule was at that gym, you had to have a college degree in a related field. You had to be certified. So it was almost 15 years ago now, and that was their standard, right? And for some reason, they broke it on me, and it did not pay off for a long time because I was just a bottom of the barrel trainer for a good 3 or 4 years. Like, okay, so what's next? Like, couldn't get anything going, man. I remember the days when I look at on my Outlook calendar in the little computer room, the trainer office, and you log in with your name and the last 4 of your social, and you're looking at the computer, and you don't want to get on the computer that the head trainer's got on accident, but you got to learn those things. I'm looking at my calendar and I'm like, okay, I almost have 10 sessions this week. You know, not 10 clients, 10 total sessions for the week. And I'm like, so I'm working floor shifts where you get paid almost minimum wage, closing one night, opening the next night, like 10 o'clock, 10:30 at night, leaving, getting another at 5 in the morning to open the next day, just because I had to make hours to keep benefits, just because I had to make hours to get some kind of money in, hoping to meet somebody, had no idea what I was doing. And I seriously remember the day when it went from 9 sessions in the week to 10. And I was like, double-digit training. Double-digit training. I made it! Double-digit training, I made it! I was so pumped. Yeah, that's where I started. So I stuck with it honestly for 2 reasons. There's some really great coaches there. Like they're training some top-notch professional athletes. Dwight Howard was training there. A lot of NFL guys would come in for combines, pro hockey players, pro squash players. We'd see all kinds of cool stuff. So I really felt fortunate. even though it's a big box and everyone hates on big box gyms, I felt fortunate to sit there and be able to watch these guys train people that I would never have the ability to reach out to and find them or make connections with, and just see pro athletes, see people that need a lot of individualized specific help get trained and just soak it all in. This is 2007 when I got hired. So YouTube started the next year. So I didn't have a source to go to like actually learn this stuff. I had to watch it in person. If I had gone on my own or gone to a small gym at that time, I don't think I would have got that, you know, but it was neat. It was neat to stick with that and see it grow, because a lot of people didn't. You know, the next year the economy crashes. Like everybody,
2008. Yeah.
This high-end box gym where you're paying over $100, $150, whatever it was, for membership. Trainers are charging up to $120, $130 an hour for training. I'm over here like $50. Anybody? I'm the cheapest. Nobody wants the cheapest at that gym, you know? Like,
right.
So
nobody wants the cheapest in general. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially, you know, if they're coming there for the best and then you're the cheapest of the best, it's like, it doesn't feel good. Right. So I had to learn that as well. But anyway, so many trainers who had just gotten comfortable with, I'll make my $100 an hour, I'll bring it in, and the club takes 50, I take 50, whatever that is. Then all of a sudden the economy crashes, and now they got comfortable and realized, wait, I'm losing clients. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And so I came up during that time when everyone else that had gotten comfortable kind of was falling off. And so I didn't know any better. I had 9 sessions a week, right? So I'm like, it hit, you know, I lose 10% of my training sessions, and or 20%, I'm at 8 sessions a week, you know? So it's not like, so I had to grow during what was probably the hardest time for a trainer to grow in my professional time, right? The Great Recession, or whatever you want to call it. And as I grew in that, I started getting more clients, finding new ways, just diving into sales, like using my downtime. I would stop taking floor shifts and start reading sales books and diving in and studying and making calls, stuff that I didn't get paid for, so that I could actually grow my training business and help more people make more money. Because now I got a kid on the way. I got married as soon as I got the job. I'm like, I got a job, I'm good to go. Let's get married. Like, then we got a kid on the way, all kinds of other stuff, growing. And it's just like, I got to make some money here. You know, this is fun, but I got to make some money. So as trainers started to leave, I realized, man, they had some clients and they're going to a different industry, a different field. So I would take some of their clients on, because I built relationships with everybody I could in the gym. And that is a benefit of a big box gym, is there's a high turnover. And if you can outlast everybody else and you can be good at what you do and you can build real relationships, people are drawn to you, and you will gain a following. You'll gain people into your calendar, you know? So that was huge.
Okay. And then, so what inspired the book? I mean, you obviously got good at sales. What inspired you to write the book?
So it was another book. I read a book called I Hate Selling for the Service Provider. It's for CPAs, right? And a mentor of mine said, read this book. And I said, cool, will do. Read the book. It was 300 or 400 pages long. I'm taking notes. I'm highlighting. I'm reading. I read it 3 or 4 times through, like writing my own notes out of the notes that I took out of the book, like rewriting things, all kinds of, basically rewriting the book just so that I could remember it, right? Like that's when you're like, you're studying for an exam kind of a feeling. And it just like really like started to like take off. Like my sessions doubled, like 9 to 18, you know. Then the next year it doubles again. It doubled. My income is doubling. Like what I'm taking home, doubling 3 years in a row, 4 years in a row. Which first year, nothing. But after you double 3 more times, it's significant, to the point where I'm the top revenue producing trainer in the whole company, through gyms in Central Florida and Michigan. So it's like, it's working. They're putting me in charge of some teams. I'm helping some new trainers out. Eventually get promoted to training, like, sports performance team leader, all this kind of stuff. And then running my own gym with my own set of trainers out in the villages. So that was like the progression of it. The book came about because I kept teaching people this stuff. I said, grab this book. It helped me so much. And they'd get it. And they're like, look, this isn't talking about training. This is like for CPAs. What are you telling me? And I think I really grabbed hold of that book at a time where I was desperate. And it was like, this is going to help me, or I'm going to quit this job, you know, and I'm going to go be a teacher like my dad, or I'm going to go be a coach, or I'm going to go figure something else out, you know, like, so I made that thing work for me. And then I went and sought out the author and said, hey, Alan, this is an awesome book and it's helped me a ton. The process works. but nobody wants to read it in my industry. Can I rewrite it? And he said, sure, go ahead. So I rewrote it, made it like 120 pages, put some real life examples from like every scenario in that book is something that I've actually gone through, specifically where I've failed or seen somebody else fail or have my team do really well in. Like, so it's really, really practical, really resonates to just like what you're actually going to see in a gym, whether it's a big box or it's a, studio or just a one-on-one trainer. I think I've had a lot of feedback saying, man, it's funny. I read that because I just did that the other day and that's exactly what they told me, so it's been pretty neat.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And then, so let's jump into it. Sales for personal trainers.
Yeah.
So where do most trainers go wrong with that?
Man, so most trainers, here's what I've seen. If you're a great trainer, you run away from sales, right? If you're an excellent trainer, you think that's not my job. So many quality trainers at the big box gyms are begging for a salesperson to come sell them training. And I just kept saying, I don't think we didn't have that. And I was like, I don't think you know what that means. If someone's selling you personal training, you're going to make less. You don't have control of your schedule because they're going to throw them into your schedule wherever they want to. You don't have control of who your clients are. You're going to get whoever they put you with. Like, they're going to be they're not your clients anymore. They're it's going to be, we had it set up real nice. I think a lot of gyms don't have this, but it was a my business within their business, right? So it's still their clients, still, rather than you're on the clock from 2 to 8 and whoever we slot you with and whoever you train, that's who you're going to train. I couldn't stand that idea because I really want to stay with my people, help them grow, and bring in other trainers as we need to, rather than if they want to come in at 2:00 today, that's who I get. It's a really tough way to train people, I believe. Anyway, that's where the really great, like, technical trainers, like your sports performance coaches, your weight room coaches, like your those type of guys lean to. I'm stereotyping here quite a bit, so that may not be everybody, but you get the feel of it, right? The other side of it is like this pushy, rah, like, we're going to make it happen, get over here, and like almost manipulative, but maybe they don't mean to be. Maybe it's just overexcited. And I think in my experience, I've seen a lot of group exercise people lean this way. They're not the most technically sound trainers. Please don't hate me, group exercise coaches, big class coaches. There is a need for big class coaches, right? And there's a need for the one-on-one coaches, right? I think both have their share. But they love the sales. I want to get people in. I want to grow this thing. And they grow boot camps. They grow big classes. It's great. But then it doesn't always deliver the way the client expects it to. Not that they're not good trainers, but it's overhyped in a way, or it's the expectations aren't laid out perfectly. Something falls short. So those are the two ways I see it going wrong, where they can either run from sales or dive in too hard and not know how to follow up with it, because we're not built like if you're like me at all and you're like, it's squirrel. What's next? That's fun. Let's just go on to the next thing. Let's keep working out. Let's keep moving. If I sit down, I'm going to fall asleep. I want to keep going.
Right.
The follow-up isn't built into most trainers, right? And the sales side isn't built into most coaches. So if we can really almost merge those two together, we can do something really special.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And, going back, like the Group X and the personal training, especially athletic training, those are two totally different markets.
Sure.
And most people that go to Group X classes aren't looking for a lot of individualized attention,
Right.
So there's no need for the trainer to really focus on that versus sports performance. I mean, like, you're talking moving in tiny increments, with each training session, depending on what component you're training. So they need to be, it comes down to specificity of training. So they need to be very detail oriented. So it's two different populations, two different skill sets. So I don't think there's any slight there, but
they tend to fall, it's
exactly. Yeah. So what do trainers need to do to start getting it right?
So, there's a couple things. One, the first thing I'll say is with our mind. The second thing is having a process. And then the third thing we need to do is change the way we do it now. Like, cause this is a different time. It reminds me a lot of what happened when I was in 2008, from it's just on another level, right? So
Mm.
when I was coming up in the industry, it's like nobody could get clients, and all of a sudden, I was like, well, I'm not having any trouble getting clients as I'm growing. 2009, it's like, man, I'm I'm doing some things here. It's starting to like really pick up for me, but all these people around me, and looking back, I just realized they were used to the way that it was, and they didn't know how to adapt or change. And I
Hmm.
wasn't used to anything, so I had to make it work. And I wasn't willing. Like I had a baby on the way. I had a newborn
Right.
now. I had a 2-year-old now. Like so I wasn't willing to not let it work. So I had to adapt. I had to figure out a way to make it work, and I had to educate myself and really put my passion into it. So we can talk specifics on each of these, the mindset of it, the process of it, and what we need to do right now, if that's good with you.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
that'd be huge. So the mindset we kind of touched on already. If you think sales is to sell is a 4-letter word, and you won't let it come out of your mouth. Like, I don't like sales. I don't like selling. It feels bad. It feels icky. You don't understand what true sales really is, right? Like we need to make sure that we are on the same page when we talk about selling, that the goal is not to get something from somebody, right? When you're thinking of selling, because if you think that's what sales is, if you feel weird when you're thinking about selling your services, you're thinking about it in a way of getting something from somebody, and you're probably not the business owner. And just to put it bluntly, you probably never will be unless you change that. So
Yeah.
if you're a trainer that wants to own their own gym and you can't get past this idea of selling, here's the excuses and the telltale signs is like, well, the owner just takes such a big cut. Well, they don't pay me enough. Well, the percentages aren't right. Well, it's too expensive for the client. If you have those kind of excuses and thoughts in your mind, you're thinking of sales as a bad thing. You're thinking of charging money as a bad thing. And you have to change that attitude if you want to grow your business or own a business or build a business at all, a book of business at all. First thing with that, you ever just try to offer free training? I did it like this is my advice. When I first started up, said, just go out there, find people on the floor, tell them you're a new trainer here and you want to train for free. I got like 3 clients, three free clients that took me up on it. And I talked to everybody, like not because, I mean, I was okay. I wasn't bad, but they had no idea. Right. And I'm a somewhat likable guy at times, you
Uh-huh.
know,
Yeah.
I can rub people the wrong way, but I was 3. Guess what happened to them? And this is not because this is not out of me doing horrible things. All of them quit. All of them cut their membership. All of them stopped training. 3 free memberships. So giving it away for free really quickly showed me it didn't work. I had one lady 4 days a week. All they told me was give it away for free, Ryan. So I took her on 4 days a week for the first 4 weeks that I was there. All free, right? By the end of our 16th session, I'm like, hey, Beverly, this has been great. You know, my stipend period is over now, and I need to start charging for my training. You've seen some great results. You've seen what kind of trainer I am. I'd like to get this going. She said, yeah, you've been amazing. This has changed my life. I'm so grateful. Never came back to the gym again. So like giving it away for free doesn't work on that end. So if you think I'm just going to give it away, they're just going to come. I don't have to talk about sales. They'll sign up. Maybe if you're running a $5 boot camp, maybe if you're running a $10 boot camp. So the CrossFit ideas have kind of blurred those lines a little bit, where some free can be good. Like we're in this freemium economy and you need to have something that you give away for free, but we don't need to lead with free. We need to lead with why it benefits them, what's so great about it, how we're going to help them, what their biggest pain is, and how we care about them the most. And that's kind of getting into the process a little bit. But the other mindset shift is if they don't, this goes right along with free. If they don't pay for it, it's not valuable to them. And
Exactly.
if you're a
Yeah.
trainer and you're out here thinking, well, I would never pay for that. Of course you would never pay for that because you already know it all. Of course you would never pay for it because you have the discipline to do it. Of course you would never pay for it because your job relies on it. Of course you would pay for other things that they wouldn't pay for. Of course you would never pay for it because you're a trainer not doing very well right now, and they're a very successful business person who makes a lot of money. Even while they're training with you, they're making money, right? So as soon as we put ourselves in their shoes thinking, well, I would never do that. How could I ask them to do that? You're missing the point. Put yourselves in their shoes thinking, what do they need? How can I help them? And then if they pay for it, darn right, they're going to be there. If they pay for it, they're making a commitment to it. It's not just about how much you charge. I could care less. We can talk percentages and numbers later. That's no big deal right now. But that mindset of it is, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. If I'm really going to commit to this, I'm putting it in my calendar. I'm putting my dollars behind it. I'm putting my time behind it. Like, my life is committed to it, and money is a way we measure commitment in a lot of times. So I think that's a huge mindset block to get over for trainers who usually don't have as much money as their clients do, who usually know a lot more about training than their clients do, so that you think it's not that valuable, but it really is incredibly valuable. And then they usually have a problem with some kind of relation with the boss, the owner, the manager, whatever it is, not paying enough. But man, if you work hard enough and you get enough clients, then all of a sudden one day you're the boss, you're the owner, and you can make it fair, or you can do it however you want, or you'll realize, oh wow, there's a lot of overhead I didn't realize. Holy crap, I was an idiot. One of the two happened there. So that's, I mean, that's the mindset piece for me, is getting over that is number one, because you can put the right process in place. If you don't have the right mindset, it's not going to matter. You can have all the right systems and everything else flowing, but if you don't have the right mindset about what you're doing with sales, and you just think, I don't like it, then it's no good.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I've heard that before. And going back to the point you made, is that trainers don't make as much as their clients. So they don't think about money like their clients do. You know, what's a lot of money to a trainer is not necessarily a lot of money to a client. And then I had Mike Arce on the show, and then he said, like, he was talking about sales, and he said, you know, clients going to go, well, that's really expensive. And people were like, well, you know, if you break it down into sessions, or if you look at what you spend at Starbucks, or they start trying to rationalize it for him instead of saying, he said, just, hey, lean into it. Yes, it is expensive, and you're worth it. And this is why, because this is what it's going to, this is the benefits that it's going to give you. You told me that these are your concerns, X, Y, Z, and addresses all of those. So yeah, it is expensive, but aren't you worth it? And that was his advice, was to lean into it. And you have to, trainers had, at least I did, I had to shift my mindset on the way I thought about money, and start thinking about it from my client's perspective instead of mine.
It's good. It's really good. He's spot on. Mike's a great guy. I've actually done a podcast with him as well, and solid advice there. I'd even take it a step forward with it's too expensive. Like, compared to what, you know, and maybe that's not a question you ask them, but a question you need to ask yourself. A lot of my processes and stuff is just, we need to ask ourselves to see if it's ready to move forward. Too expensive compared to what? Like, you don't know what they're coming from and what they got before. Like, I was paying $100 an hour and my trainer never showed up, so I'm not going to pay $100 an hour again. That seems really expensive, you know, but maybe $200 an hour doesn't seem that bad if they're going to get this, and they know the results are coming. You know what I'm saying? So those numbers are just completely made up, 100, 200, but too expensive compared to what? Like, yeah, if it's $100 an hour and you're expecting us to show up to Planet Fitness, then yeah, it's definitely way too expensive. But if you really know what they're coming from, what they're expecting, if you're on the same page of the conversation, then you can lean right into that objection and say, it is expensive, you're right, but it is darn good, you know, and it is going to be
absolutely.
It's exactly what you need. So spot on. Second thing we need is that process. If you are just shooting from the hip and you're expecting to just get clients because, you know, the universe is on your side and you helped a stray cat today, that's not how it works, you know. There's a lot of coincidences like that. When you do good things to other people, good things happen to you. I think you reap what you sow, sure. But once they come in, if you don't have a process in place, it's not something that needs to happen so that you turn into a robot. It's something that needs to happen so that you can make sure you're taking care of people the right way, right? Yeah. So if you're becoming a business owner and you're growing a book of business and you're either maxed out or you are about to hit that level where you're going to start hiring some trainers and you don't have a process in place, you're going to lose out on a lot of business, and your mind is going to justify it and your gut is going to justify it with, I just need a vacation. I need to take 2 weeks off and I don't care. I'm not taking new clients right now. You're going to like just start hurting your business subconsciously because you feel like it's too much to handle because there's no system in place. So if you can get the right sales system is the first thing I would start with. And then we can systematize other things in the business as well as you grow. but I use the doctor as a role model. I think they're the best salesperson you'll ever meet is your doctor, a good doctor. Some fitness professionals hate doctors because they just prescribe pills and give you shots and cut things open, and they don't actually deal with the root. But the idea behind a good doctor is they care about you, they're empathetic, they have a result for you, they have something they want to give you to get you to that result, and they say, man, I can help you get to where you want to get to, but they're not begging you for business, right? You never seen a doctor come into the room and be like, please, I just need it. They're not begging for it, but if they're good, they're also not jerks about it. They almost maybe lean toward the jerk side a little bit at times. But the idea there is, I've got something good for you, and they're selling you every time. Like, you don't feel like you're being sold, but you got to go buy that prescription. You got to go pick it up. If you've got insurance, you're paying your insurance bill every month so you can see that doctor. And really, they're selling you on whether you should even take the medicine or not. And it feels like you don't even have an option because they're so professional about it. And why would I question them? Because they know what to do. So they sold me, I'm doing it. So even if money's not involved, they're still selling you. So I use the doctor as a role model. We just follow that through DOCTOR, doctor, and that's our sales process. So
okay,
if we have time, we can go through it real quick, and you guys can get points of it. So step 1D, do they know that I care? That's the first thing you should be asking yourself in a sales process. This is your marketing. This is the first time they walk in the door. This is the first phone call, text message, Facebook group chat, whatever you're doing, right? Like when you get introduced to somebody, do they know that I care? And this is a question you have to ask every session, every time you interact with somebody, everything you do. You're selling. And if you don't think you're selling, then you're losing and you're not helping people. So do they know that I care is the number one thing. If they don't think that you care about them, they're looking other places, whether they mean to or not. Their eyes are getting, oh, well, that looks kind of cool. Looks like they might care about me. That my friend just said this. I think I might go over there. So even if you have clients already and they don't know that you care, you've all seen these people that you've lost touch with, that you don't know how to connect with. They kind of back away, not because you did anything wrong, but because in your mind, well, they're just a tough client. Oh, they didn't get it. But really, honestly, you couldn't show them that you cared. Or maybe you didn't want to, but that's the real reason. So once they know that you care, then we go to their pain point. Oh, Dr. D.O. is ouch, where's the pain? Again, I'm asking myself, I'm not asking them, where does it hurt? But you see most Instagram and Facebook ads right now, pain point. Have you gained 15 pounds over Corona? Well, I want to help you get back and lose that dad bod. Like you see it all over the place. They jump straight to pain. And I have no idea if you actually care about me. I just feel like another number to you. I just feel like another thing coming into your system. I feel like you just want me to click your ad so you can get more. That's what it feels like if I don't know that you care about me first. So I think we jump to that too quick most of the times when we do ads, when we do sales, is anybody that's trying to sell jumps to the pain point first without knowing that I care. So that's 2 is do they know that, or ouch, where's the pain is 2. Do they know that I care is 1. If they've passed both those tests and I've gotten to their pain, not just my knee hurts, but like, man, you know what? I wish I could get down on the ground with my kids, but I can't because my knee stops me and I feel like an old man. So if you can get that deep into the onion where it's not just, I got knee pain, but it's like,
I want to lose 20 pounds.
Why? If I'm overweight, or it's like, man, I walk into the room, my wife doesn't even notice me anymore. Like there's no spark. Like if you can get that deep into the conversation with somebody without feeling pushy and like poking them and grabbing them and stuff, that you're showing them that you care and you're getting to real pain points. At that point, we can go to step 3, which is C, committed or just complaining. So are they really committed to making a change about this, or do they just like complaining about it? In my book, we talk about the guy, I called him Chest Day Charlie. He loves to go to the gym, bench every day, and he complained, my back hurts so much, man. I don't know, but I'm benching 350. It's awesome. Like, hey, do you want to do something about that? Sure, but I'm going to get my bench in first. Well, I got some stretches for it. Well, yeah, I'm just going to make sure I got to keep the bench going. Like, he doesn't realize what he's doing is actually hurting the thing that he wants to be fixed, So in that sense, we got to find out before we even offer anything, are they really committed to making a change, or are they just complaining? And if they're just complaining, can I inspire them to want to be committed? So can I take complainers and turn them into committed action takers? That's it. That's the next step in this process, right? Like showing them we care. We're finding you're digging deep into their pain. Now we're taking their complaint and turning it into commitment, which is like, it's a skill and it's an art really. So that's why sales to me is not like this, like paper hard thing. It's like, I'm getting into your life, man. I get to find out about you. I get to know about you. I get to learn about you and figure out where you want to go and where you've been. And like, I can guide you the right direction. That's a beautiful thing. So if you like, I don't know, I feel like that resonates with me big time, to not just think of it as a numbers game, but as like, it's a people thing. And I want to actually find out who they are, where they've been, where they want to go. How can I help them see that this is the best way for them? It's huge. At that point, we talk money, top dollar, there we can get into money because they're committed. We're ready to roll. And then we talk about outside influences, because if they don't have anybody else in their life to help them in this, it's just you and them. You are not good enough to overcome every other outside influence in their life. Doesn't mean you can't train them. It's going to be an uphill battle for their results. And also, that's going to be a really big opportunity for you to set up referrals later on. So that's the last one. Real results and referrals is the last step, is getting them the results and getting the referrals in from them. And quick tip on the referrals, the best time to ask for a referral is the moment you sign them up, the second you sign them up. So if I bought a new car from you and 10 years later, you asked me for a referral to buy a car, I've already forgotten about you, right? My car feels old now. It feels like it's not exciting anymore, right? But that's when I really know if it was a good car or not, because I've had it for 10 years and I can tell it was really reliable. It was just so great. This happened. It always got me wherever I needed. People loved it, all this stuff. I have all these stories about it, but I'm not going to sell it. I'm not going to refer it to anybody as much as the day I get it. I'm like, hey man, check out this car. Look at the seats. It's so shiny. It's so amazing, because we're excited about it. You do it with food. You do it with movies. You do it with everything your kids do. You want to show new pictures of your kids and stuff they're into. Like it's a natural human response to give referrals and to sell. We constantly do it with everything in our life. But some reason when we're training people, we're like, let me just wait. And I'll just wait until they get the results they need. Then I'll ask them to bring people to me. So you might be the best trainer ever and they could sabotage themselves and they never get the results and you never get the referrals. But if you set it up the right way and you follow that system and you get the referral right away, then you could have 10 other people, 3 other people, 1 other person that actually, maybe that's the person that really needed you the most and they were serious and got the results when your first client, like, never got them, but he brings you people that you can really help change their life. So that's a different way to think about it, I feel like. And it's been wildly successful for myself. That's what I use to grow my business. I've got clients right now that I just got a text, it was yesterday or the day before, said, Ryan, I screenshot it. I said, Ryan, I've never trained this many people before in my life as I am right now. Like in the middle of Corona, like my schedule is full. We need to talk about how I can manage this, maybe hiring somebody else, maybe grouping people up the right way. I need your advice. We're starting to strategize with her business in a different way, because she went from a part-time trainer to like, I can't take on any more clients. I've raised my rates 3 times. I'm still getting more clients in, and she's not in a really affluent gym. She's not in a big city. It's just normal everyday trainer. And during coronavirus, killing it because she changed her mindset and bought into a process. It's awesome to see. It's awesome.
Yeah. There's so many good things, but I want to backtrack. So
Sure.
I think I missed the second O after top dollar. What was the second O after that?
Outside influences.
Outside influences.
Right.
And then real results and referrals.
Yeah. So do they know that I care? Ouch, where's the pain? Committed or just complaining? Top dollar. Outside influences, real results, and referrals. So again, that's almost all internal, right? Like it's a checklist for me to find out if we're ready to go to the next step, rather than, you know, that awkward conversation at the end of a free workout and you're like, so you like, great job today. Did you want to, let me know. I'll see you. Like it's either that or it doesn't have to be that way. You can actually you can sign somebody up on a text message if you follow the right system. You can sign somebody up on your website, could follow this system in a way, you know, it's very possible. So
yeah, I agree with you, especially with that awkward conversation. But I love that, because if you don't have a process, like take your one client that you said, oh, I mean, I can't take any more clients. I'm going to have to bring on another trainer.
Yeah.
If you don't have a process to give that other trainer or show that other trainer or train them to or hold them accountable to, then and I've seen it a million times, is you hire another trainer and you go, train these clients. This is how I train them, blah, 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 train these clients.
And
And
fail,
then they don't have a process.
Oh,
And then they're losing clients. Clients are unhappy. You're not happy with them. And you're like, and then you tell
ripping
yourself,
out your hair, just like,
but then you say, I hired the wrong person. They're not a good fit.
they
And
suck.
that's not yeah, they're not any good. They're not right for this business. They're not right for this company or whatever, and, somebody told me, if there's anything wrong in your business, it's your fault.
Right.
And the other thing is, and Rick Mayo says, is that the membership that you sell them should be prescriptive. You should take them through the assessment and say, look,
definitely.
I think in order to move the needle here, you're going to have to come in 3 times a week. You know, and they're like, well, I can only afford the one. I go, well, you can buy the one, but you're going to be wasting your money, because once a week is not enough to move the needle. You need 3 times a week in order to really move that needle. And so I think, and not only the membership, but I think the exercise should be prescriptive as well. Yeah. When you're training them, you're like, okay, I want you to do this exercise. It works your glutes, hamstrings, and some quads if you do it, this way. They're like, okay, versus, hey, when you came in, you said that, you wanted your glutes to be a little bit perkier, and who doesn't? Every day is booty day. And if you do this exercise this way, it will make your glutes more perkier, and so now they're going, oh yeah, I did come in here for that. Oh, okay, let me do this exercise right then. It changes their whole motivation, and that's part of the sales process, right?
Yeah. That's spot on. And I think there's far too many times I've overheard conversations or worked with somebody, and they're selling a membership, or they're selling training, or they're trying to, or just convincing somebody what they should be doing in the gym, right? Maybe that's where the conversation. I'm showing you that I care, but hey, there's lots of options out here. Let me show you this is in a box gym kind of setting, maybe. But we have these conversations with our families, with our friends every day. If you're a fitness professional, like, hey, I hurt my back. What should I do? Isn't that like, well, what do you want to do? What do you like? What kind of cardio equipment do you like? What kind of ab exercise?
What do you feel like training today?
What do you feel like training? You're like,
I hear that and I cringe.
That's the kind of stuff we ask, thinking we're building relationship. But all we're really doing when we're asking where they want to go is showing them that we don't know, and showing them that we don't have a path for them. We don't have a plan for them. I'm fine with you giving stuff away. I'm fine with stuff being cheap or free. I say I'm fine. I don't really like it, but I'm okay with it, right? But there's a time and place for it. If you have it in your system, if you have it as a reason to get to the next step, if you have it in their best interest in mind, and you can actually show them the path that you're taking them on, rather than just like, well, hey, you got 3 classes, pick one, just do one. Let's make it like, it's like, I use the example a lot, but I go get a haircut, and I've yet gone to a place, and maybe I've gone to some nice places. I've gone to some cheap places. I've gone to some just all guy places. I've gone to some salons, and I get in, I'm like, well, what do you want? What kind of haircut do you want? It's like, every time I'm like, crap, I hate this question. I don't know. Like,
this is why I'm coming to you.
This is why I'm coming to you. Look at my head. Look at my hair. Look where my hairline is and the shape of my head. Suggest to me, say, hey, these 3 hairstyles would look great on you. Maybe none of them would, and that's why nobody tells me. I don't know. But
make me look like George Clooney.
No joke though. I've got my wife take screenshots of people. Like, she's like, I think you kind of look like these celebrities, and I like their haircuts too. So send this to them, and can you make me look like him? And they're like, no, but I can give you that haircut. So that's where I'm at. That's the best I could do. But and to relate that back to a gym, we don't give them advice. We ask them what they want to do. Then we get mad when they bring their own trainer in, because you got to use our trainers. Or then we're upset because they're using Open Gym, and they've got some app they're using that they've paid for, rather than buying my program that I've got that's just little bump up in membership, like it's less expensive than that, but we haven't actually laid out the path for them and told them, hey, with your body type, with your head shape, with your hairstyle, this is the haircut that would be right for you. We've been,
Mhm.
what do you want to, lose 10 pounds? Okay, make sure you get in here 4 days a week or 3 days a week or whatever. We tell them something like that, but we
Right.
haven't got granular with it. And at the same time, big picture with it to say, hey, this is where you want to go. Here's what you got to do. I'm going to be right here with you. If we can do stuff like that, that's selling. That's exciting to me. And that I would never leave that barber if they would do that. If I walked into a place, they'd be like, I got the haircut for you, buddy. I'd be a little worried at first. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? But I'd never
Yeah.
leave if it was right, because they led me, right? And I
Right.
think deep down, we want to be led by an expert, and that's the point
Hmm.
here. And that's what this process does. Is even if you're not the expert yet, it makes you feel confident, and it helps them feel confident that you at least know what the next step is. So to them, you're an expert, even though if you're like, man, I've only been in this industry 2, 3, 5 years. I'm by no means an expert, which is a whole nother conversation. If you're in this industry 5 years and you think you're like a veteran trainer, like I did, you wait 5 more years and you've got a lot. You'll see. But they want to be led by someone who they feel like is at least a step ahead of them. And that's where we need the process in place. So
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think you're dead on, and I've seen it a lot. And the other thing that I get a lot when we're talking about processes, like, well, I don't have a process. Chances are you do. If you're a good trainer who is able to get clients, get new clients, and
yeah,
retain the clients you have a system. You have a checklist in your head that you go through each and every time you train a
yep,
client or you talk to a new client. Write it down. At least
yep.
when you write it down, then you can tweak it and change it. And then you have like a hard copy to hand that trainer when you hire them, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
That's good.
So like, and that's a good, I always recommend people starting with their processes there.
Yeah, it's great. The third thing I mentioned, saying what can we do right now?
Hmm.
Um, so we talked about mindset and we talked about sales process. We can go back to process if you want again, but I was
No,
thinking,
you read my mind. Let's
perfect.
move on to like right now.
What do I need to do right now with Corona happening, with like places locked down? Like some places have opened back up, then locked back down again.
Hmm.
Some places, you know, there's two big things you need to do right now. I don't care if you think coronavirus is the worst thing ever to happen to humanity, or if you think it's the pandemic that all the political elites are trying to do to do whatever reason they're trying to shut everything down, right, and ruin our economy. It doesn't matter what side of the spectrum or where in between you fall on. Um, Tweeting and texting and Facebook messaging, wear the damn mask, and you people are dying, or this is a scam, or this is a, like, that is not getting you any clients, right?
Just
It's
the
not.
opposite.
Yeah, it's, maybe you'll get you a client that like that you already have is like, yeah, you tell them, Ryan, you do it, maybe, but everybody's doing that right now. So my point is not to make this. I'm not saying don't be passionate about your beliefs. Be passionate about your beliefs. Fight for what you believe in. Don't back down from what you believe in, whatever side you're on. That's fine. Um, but if you're making this about what you believe, then you're breaking step one already, and you're saying, I don't care if you know that I care about you. I care that what I say matters, right? So every place you put your voice out there is a platform you could be reaching somebody and helping somebody. So yes, this thing could be bad, or it could be a pandemic, whatever you want to call it, right? It could be, who cares? The point here is that people need to be healthier now than ever before. If it's
Hmm.
a bad virus, because we've seen people that are healthy get sick for a week or two and they get better most of the
Hmm.
time. If
Yeah.
it's that we're on lockdown, then people have been sedentary and stationary for months now, and they need something to help them get back in the rhythm. So whatever side you're on, you're the answer, right? And if you take the political approach and not your business and not growing people, not helping people approach, then you're going to miss out on a big opportunity. I think there's a lot of people that need a lot of help right now. And you can be a voice of reason in their life with something they can actually do because everything else right now feels so out of our control. And that's why you see all these tweets and posts and everything, comments and pictures and mask shaming and unmask shaming, whatever it is, right? Because everybody feels out of control. So you can give them something that helps them take back control in their life because it's something they can do. And that's powerful to offer to somebody. So I think that is a huge thing to do right now. And then if you're a gym owner and you're opening back up, this is the second thing we need to do right now. You likely got caught off guard the first time when things shut down. I would not be surprised if it happened again or again. We've set a precedent for it. Places have already shut back down for a second time in some areas. So here's the one conversation I would have with everybody that comes in the door, because you've already gone through this once. You've already gone online. Maybe it was just Zoom. Maybe it was some big app or website that you purchased. Maybe you were already ready for it, but odds are you weren't ready for it and you lost a lot of clients. And they'll say, I'll just wait until it's over. There's 14 days to lower the curve. So I'll wait 2 weeks. I'll come back. Just pause my membership. And then it's 2 months, and then it's 3 months, then it's 4 months. But every time they'd give you like a 20-day out or a 10-day out, or we'll give you an update in 15 days. And half of your clients are saying, well, they're going to give us an update. I think I'll just come back when they say it's okay to come back then, because they're afraid and they're out of control, right? And you did not set the expectation from the get-go when they signed up that you had a plan when this was all going to go down, because you didn't. Nobody did. And that's not your fault. But now, right now, you can say, hey, we're signing up for X membership or X training or whatever you're signing them up for. You can work on that system. That's a whole nother system in your business. But no matter what happens, this is the statement I've been using and my clients have been using. That's been great. No matter what happens in this world, I'm going to have training for you. No matter what happens, we're going to move forward and we're going to make sure you're getting the workouts. You're going to make sure you're getting the results that you need no matter what happens. So what that does is it puts them at peace a little bit, where when I buy this training, am I paying for a membership that's all of a sudden I can't go and use it? But it changes everything, honestly, because now if I go out of town, no matter what happens, I've got training for you. You don't have to put your membership on hold. We'll get your one-on-one sessions or your group sessions on Zoom, and we'll get you going like that, right? No matter what happens, everything shuts down. I'm going to email you workouts every day. I'm going to send you videos of myself. Maybe that's your angle, right? No matter what happens, I've got to go out of town, and I can't train you guys. I'm either going to have a coach or I'm going to be Zooming from off location so you guys can have it as well. So you've got all kinds of options, whether it's just texting workouts, emailing workouts, sharing Google Docs with a special app, or just sending them Trainerize or something like that. Has all kinds of workout videos on there you can send people, or straight Zoom calls where it's big group or one-on-one. You've got a plan now because you've been through it all before, at least once, and you figured out a little bit of it, what you like and you don't like. So you can confidently tell people, no matter what happens, I'm going to have training for you. No matter what happens, I'm going to have something that's going to help you keep going forward. And we're not going to put a hold on this. Corona's not shutting us down. Nothing is shutting us down anymore, right? Maybe a giant EMP explodes on America and all computers shut off. Then you got to figure something else out. but
you can still do it. The equipment still works.
There we go.
Yeah.
So that's my big takeaway right now is stay away from the political stuff. That divides and separates. Mm-hmm. Find a way to say it that is encouraging and that is like just uplifting in a way that's going to attract people to you. And then tell them, no matter what happens, I've got something. As they sign up, as your people, guys, I know there's talk about this in the news, but no matter what happens, we're going to have stuff going forward. Don't worry about it. And what you're secretly saying is, we're not canceling your memberships. We're not putting a hold on it. We're going to keep going. You're going to do this. It's going to be great. And they don't hear all that, but they hear it as you're talking about it.
Right.
So,
between the lines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And I love what you said about empowering them, because when you empower people, it really gets them to buy in to your culture and your community. Mm-hmm. Like they helped me change my life, or like take control of my immune system or my health and fitness, and then you become like that favorite coach of yours, right? That becomes, it crosses that line into almost friendship, but it really helps them to commit to your community and to your culture when you empower them like that. So I really like that.
Good. That's good.
So Ryan, this has been great. I want to wrap up with the three questions that I ask every guest. And they're not gotcha questions, but it's my favorite part because I think we get some of the best answers from these. So my first one is, what has been your most successful failure? And by that, I mean, at the time, it seemed like a devastating loss that you weren't going to be able to recover from, but you were able to take life lessons from it that were that you used to propel you to greater success down the road.
Man, I got to pick one failure. There's so many of them. Uh, yeah. So I've got a couple, and they all kind of relate together. But the big one, it usually, again, growing up in a big box gym in the industry, I'm not growing up, but you know what I mean. The getting passed over for promotions, and actually taking side steps to move up, to get more clients. I had one point where I was written up. So if you've ever been written up by your boss, right? I was written up multiple times, but I was
that
on,
usually means you're an entrepreneur, not an
right.
employee. Yeah.
Honestly, I was put on final notice as a manager. Like, if this happens again, and it was all. It just seemed so strange to me at the time. I was like, man, I don't even feel like. Maybe this is everybody's got in trouble. I don't even feel like I did anything wrong here. This is so weird, and I don't like. It was the closest I've ever come to looking somebody in the moment and just out of anger saying, "Forget this, I'm done," and quitting on the spot. Right? Like when they said that to me, because it hurt, and it was like I felt like they didn't want me there. I feel like this is like anyway. So that turned into me really diving into the book that I wrote more and more because I just released it, and they thought I was diving into it too much. And I was like, no, you should have seen me for the last 2.5 years when I was writing it. That's what took the time. Now I'm just typing about it on social media. That's while I'm watching, while you guys are home drinking and hanging out, I'm typing and messaging people. And so anyway, something crossed that shouldn't have got crossed there at some point. And they said, you're on final notice. So that pushed me to a place where it really made me look at like, okay, well, what if I did get fired right there? What if I wasn't there anymore? And I think a year and a half, 2 years later, 2.5 years later, I ended up saying, hey, I'm about to put in I gave him 2 months because I was a manager of the whole fitness thing. So I said, I'm not coming back at the whatever my anniversary date's gonna be my last day here. So that was really hard and really cool at the same time. So business wise, that's my answer, I guess, for right now.
So like just the threat of losing your job and having the rug pulled from underneath you motivated you to get another stream of income or make sure that you had a plan B?
Yeah, it wasn't even out of fear that I was going to lose the job because I felt at the time it felt silly. I was just like, what? It just took me off. So I wasn't like, I had no doubt that I would, this is just another silly thing you got to deal with as you're trying to make good things happen. And you mess up along the way or whatever happens. But so it wasn't a personal or any kind of relational thing. It was just like a process thing that just didn't get done right. And it was not a fear of losing the job or not having income. It was just made my eyes open up to like, well, what if I wasn't there? What would I do? And like, it really got me thinking. And so I was like, that could be cool. Actually, I think I'd like that a lot. And so it's something I'd never even really considered before. I originally just wrote the book just to kind of get it out there for trainers that I was working with, for other coaches that asked me about it. Like, I felt like that was my next thing to do. And then when that happened, I was like, whoa, this could be something bigger than I thought it could be, So that was really, it let me see things in a whole different way.
Great answer. I like that quite a bit. And then my next question is, in your time in the fitness industry, what has been the biggest surprise that you've had to deal with that you did not see coming, which is the definition of a surprise?
Yeah. Two things, it's usually my expectation, is off, honestly. So I walked into my job as a trainer thinking, this is great, fun gym, great people, great trainer. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to make some money for my newly started family, all this stuff. I didn't realize it was a sales job. I didn't realize that even if somebody's selling the memberships for you or selling training for you, every session I'm selling again. Like I've got to convince them. It's not like, hey, buy this phone. It's straight up like, you should do this exercise. I don't want to. if you don't convince them the right way. I heard that's bad for you. I heard this. I heard that. I heard that. You're selling every step of the way. And so that was a big shock for me. Same thing when I started leading teams. I thought, in my naivety, I thought, well, Ryan was promoted, so everyone was on board with this. So yeah, we're all here to help people, to make money, to make this place awesome. Let's go. And I'd have these ideas in meetings, and I'd like pull people aside and talk to them. And I'm talking like outright hate and disgust at certain points, because it's just like, I'm like, oh, okay. I wasn't following my own advice. I just assumed that we're all on the same page, and I care about you. I got to go back and, do they know that I care about them? Where's their pain? Are they committed to this? Or are they just complaining about not making enough money or having enough clients? Like, I was jumping right to top dollar, right to like, here's what we're going to do. Here's how much you got to work. Here's what's going to happen. Here's the result you're going to get. It's going to be awesome. And they're like, shut up, man. We hate you. So I wish I was the guy that didn't get your job. Like it's stuff like that you don't even, as you're wanting to move forward, you don't even think about. So I wasn't taking my own advice. So I think that those two things shocked me the most. And I think they continue to shock me. And I got to remind myself, okay, not everybody in here is on your side. And I just kind of walk into a room, assume everybody likes me, and assume that we're all here for the same reason. And that's really stupid sometimes. That's like,
well, like you said, it's naive. And because I think that's one of the things that people are thrust into an ownership or management position, is that they don't think about what makes a good leader. You have to lead people. In order to lead people, they have to know that you have their best interests in heart, and this is a place where they can do well for themselves. So I think leadership, when you're talking about managing or owning a facility, is really important. And I like the fact that you use the doctor analogy to improve your leadership.
It's what's worked for me the whole way through. And studying other books, other leadership stuff, constantly. After I felt like I got the sales process down, went right into leadership. I'm like, okay, this is the same thing. If I'm leading people, and it's the same thing. As long as I can get rid of that negative connotation of sales, selling and leading are the same thing, really, right? Like, if we have the right heart, if you have the right heart. So
it's about helping people. If you help people, then it's really not selling, even though it is selling. All right. And my last question is, where do you go for your personal and professional development?
I actually was just watching a masterclass. So my wife bought me a masterclass for my birthday last year. It's okay. That's all right. That's not where I go for personal and professional development, but that's a funny coincidence. Before we got on here, I had masterclass on as I'm working. That was fun stuff. That's my entertainment, right?
Right.
I love discipleship, mentorship type relationships. That has been huge for me. I've hired coaches. I've paid for that. I do that myself for people. So I get a mentor that you pay. Like that's important, The biggest thing that's changed my life, though, is like getting to know another guy that's just a step forward in life for me, and kind of just seeing how he lives, how he treats his wife, how he treats his kids, what his faith is like, what his life is like. Is that something that I want to be like? Is that something I feel like I'm supposed to be like? What areas of my life are supposed to line up with that? And it's less about sitting down and being taught or projects assigned to you from your coach. This is a different thing for me, because those are good for business, right? But this is what it's what my life is all about, right? Is I want to glean from guys that I think are worthy of gleaning from, right? And pull stuff from them that the way, like I said, the way they treat their wives, the way they treat their kids, the way they run their businesses, the way they just treat people in everyday life, and the way they work, and the way they rest, and all that kind of stuff. Like, you can't get that online.
Mm-mm.
You can't get that from a YouTube video. You can't get that from a how-to book. You can't get that from my book or my coaching. Like I'm talking like life on life kind of stuff where you actually like, we go out to dinner, we meet during the week, we talk a little bit, we call each other up on the phone, like that kind of stuff has been big. And if I'm honest, it's been bigger than any John Maxwell leadership training book. You know, it's been bigger than any marketing strategy training. It's been bigger than any social media platform training or sales book training, anything like that. Like that's been the biggest thing, because if you're getting that in your life and you're actually becoming the person you're meant to be and kind of shedding off the stuff that's attached to you that you shouldn't be attached to very much, you know, the stuff that's pulling you down, the stuff that is just awful or sinful or horrible in you, you know, you're going to be confident enough and you're going to be bold enough and you're going to be risky enough to go out and like try things that nobody else is going to want to try. I think it's basically, my dad died when he was 66 years old. I was 24 at the time, 26 at the time. So I just had my second daughter, my first daughter, second child. And it really quickly realized, man, like I had something special that a lot of people don't have. So being in a couple of leadership positions, realizing how many people never had that father figure to speak into their life in a positive way, or never had a role model that cared about them. It was just do this. If you can't do it, you're an idiot, or no advice at all. Right. But so when I lost that, I was like, man, picked up my phone one day. I'm like, called my dad and I'm like, oh, he's not around anymore. I can't
Mm-hmm.
call him today. So I turned really, my rock there is Jesus. So turning to him is like, that becomes my father, but I need something on earth right now to like actually do life with somebody else and like figure out the problems that I've got with my wife or my kids or myself, you know, and like,
Mm-hmm.
that's been the biggest thing for me. So I know I'm getting out of business and fitness here, but that's, for me, that's the biggest thing I think anybody could ever do, is find somebody that can show them that they care and dig into their pain. The same kind of thing, right? Like just
Yeah.
really be there for them.
Yeah, I love that answer, because I think, and I've talked about this on the podcast several times, is that I think a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs, they get so focused on and spend so much energy in their businesses and on their jobs that they don't have anything left when they come home. So their
Yep.
clients and their business gets the best of them, and their family and their loved ones gets the worst of them. And then
Yeah.
you can't help but, I mean, it makes your life miserable, and it can't be good for your business either if your home life is just terrible. So
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think if you can, I think it's important that you prioritize and save some of that energy for your loved ones, so you can have them along for the ride as part of your team, as part of your rock, as part of
Yeah.
your support system. And then that makes your family life better. And then I think that just bleeds over into your business as well.
Yeah. So one really practical thing that I did with that, we talked earlier about sales and that mindset
Mm-hmm.
of not wanting to charge too much or whatever. I took a percentage, like putting your money where your mouth is, right? Like most people are like, that's my commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Realizing that's how people make commitments, is with their money. So to exactly your point about family being important, I took a percentage of my business off the top, off of the real revenue after taxes. And yeah, so right off the top, basically, I take 10% of everything I make, I put in an account. I can't touch it for 3 months. At the end of the 3 months, that's our profit. And it's, I can't spend it on my business. It's got to be something fun for the family. So
Okay.
which has been really cool. Like we just took a trip to Sanibel for the beach for the week with the last quarter's profit, and like just lived it up and like found sand dollars and went paddle boarding and just hung out in the Gulf of Mexico. It was amazing.
Uh-huh.
But what it's done for my family, besides those fun trips and fun buying a car or whatever, we got a minivan for our growing family, you know, that kind of stuff. My kids now realize when daddy's working or he can't be there, they're like, they're praying for me, or they're excited that I have a client rather than like upset that I can't be there. Cause they're like, man, he's doing that for us. And I put my money where my mouth is, so yes, physically you need to be there for them, and put time away for them. Like this morning, I took my daughter on a 3-hour date, to downtown Winter Garden. We drove around, had breakfast, went shopping, came back. Like that was my Friday morning, so I make time like that. But then also we need to put our money where our mouth is too. Because otherwise they're going to grow up and hate your business, and they're going to grow up and despise you for putting your business before them. But if they see this as a partnership with you, and they're a part of your business too, and they're owners in your business, and they get to share in the profit of your business, that changes things. That's special.
Yeah.
So
That's why this is my fafavorite part of the show, because
we
we get
should have just
answers
done
like
that.
you're right. Because we get answers like that, I mean, and that's invaluable. Absolutely. All right. Well, Ryan, this has been great. I appreciate you taking the time. So you want to tell people where they can get in touch with you, find out more information,
Yeah.
hire
So
you, whatever you.
sure. Best first step with anybody is to go to ihatesellingbook.com. ihatesellingbook.com is the name of my international best-selling book for fitness professionals. ihatesellingbook.com. You can get a free copy of the book there. It's a PDF download, or you can buy the audio book for about half of what you can get it on Audible. So save your credits on Audible, get my book, and then I'll send you an email. We can start a conversation. If you don't like the conversation, you can bow out. No big deal. But then I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. I think I actually just saw a notification as we're on here that a new podcast that I released just got uploaded as well today. So that's pretty exciting.
Okay.
So I've got, if you're into podcasts, look for I Hate Selling Live. Otherwise, anywhere that's I Hate Selling and Ryan McKenzie, you'll find me.
Awesome. And all of those links will be in the show notes. Just go to trainerjim.net, click on this episode of the podcast, and all the links to contact Ryan will be right there. Ryan, this has been awesome, man. I really appreciate it.
Jim, you're the man. This is amazing. You're incredible.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And I reserve the right to have you back on the podcast, because I think this is a weak spot for a lot of trainers. And I've said it before, you can have the best trainer in the world. If they don't know how to sell, they're going to be an accountant.
Yep.
You can have the worst trainer in the world, and if they know how to sell, they're going to be well off. So don't underestimate it. Absolutely. So Ryan, thanks a lot. I appreciate it, man.